A former player who spent years inside the Eagles' locker room came back to the topic that has dominated the last few weeks of the offseason and put a specific proposal on the table, making it crystal clear what he wants to see happen while drawing a precise line around what he is not willing to accept. This is not just any voice talking about the Eagles. This is someone who knows Philadelphia from the inside, who understands what this franchise needs to get back to the top, and who has a clear vision of how the best pass rusher available on the NFL trade market should arrive at the NovaCare complex. And the proposal he laid out is one of the most concrete and well-structured ones we have seen this entire offseason. This proposal has a name, has a price, and has a defensive vision that is going to make every Eagles fan dream with their eyes wide open. If you want to know exactly what is being discussed, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. Training camp is less than a month away, and this decision could define the future of the franchise. With training camp approaching, the Eagles keep getting consistently linked to trade rumors for the best pass rusher available on the market. Part of that is driven by the still unresolved contract situation of Jalen Carter, which has fueled speculation about a potential Carter-centered package to make the deal happen. But former Eagles linebacker Ike Reese went on the air at 94 WHIP to shut that idea down completely and present an alternative that keeps Carter in Philadelphia while still bringing in the player he considers transformative for the Eagles' defense, Maxx Crosby. Reese's proposal is straightforward and bold. Instead of Carter, the former Eagle suggests sending edge rusher Nolan Smith, along with the 2028 first-round pick the Eagles just acquired in their deal with the New England Patriots, the same blockbuster in which A.J. Brown was traded to New England back in June. That package, in Reese's view, would be enough to convince the Las Vegas Raiders to move on from Crosby, keep Carter in Philadelphia, and build a defensive line that very few teams anywhere in the world could match. The logic is simple on the surface, but profound when you examine what it produces on the field. Because what Reese is proposing is not just a trade, it is a vision. In his own words, "I want to see Maxx Crosby play with Jalen Carter. That's what I want to see. Maxx Crosby, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Greenard, that's a four right there." Stop for a moment and think about that formation. Crosby on the edge as an elite pass rusher, Carter dominating the interior with his explosive power, Jordan Davis adding mass and the ability to command double teams, and Greenard complementing from the other side with his consistent ability to pressure the quarterback. This would be the most terrifying defensive line the Eagles have had in generations, and potentially one of the best trench units in recent NFL history. To understand the full weight of what Reese is proposing, you have to look at Crosby's numbers seriously. Over 7 seasons in the NFL, the pass rusher has averaged 68 tackles per season, a number that reflects not just pressure production but total impact on the game. His 69.5 total sacks represent a double-digit average per season, something very few edge rushers in the history of the position have been able to sustain. And 25 quarterback hits per season on average. Direct hits on the quarterback show that Crosby is not just a stat accumulator in favorable situations. He is a player who affects the game on every single down, who creates pressure in both passing and running situations, and who forces offensive lines to make decisions before the snap even happens. Reese also made a historical comparison that is going to resonate deeply with any veteran Eagles fan. According to him, Philadelphia has not had a pass rusher at Crosby's level since Trent Cole. Cole spent 10 seasons with the Eagles, from 2005 through 2014, and put together multiple double-digit sack seasons, being one of the dominant forces during a period when the Eagles had one of the most feared defenses in the NFC. Saying that there has not been an edge rusher of that caliber in more than a decade in Philadelphia is a heavy statement. But it is hard to argue against, and that is exactly why Crosby's arrival would not just be a roster addition. It would be a generational event for the Eagles' defensive line. Reese also addressed an inevitable comparison: Haason Reddick. The former Eagle had a dominant season with the franchise. Who can forget the devastating performances he delivered during his time in Philadelphia? But Reese was clear. Reddick is not at the same level as Crosby, not as a sustained pass rusher across multiple seasons, not as a dominant force that redefines the game week after week. Crosby is a different category, and Reese, who spent years evaluating players both as an analyst and during his own career as a linebacker, knows the difference between a high-level pass rusher and a truly transformative player. The financial element of the proposal also deserves attention. The 2028 first-round pick that Reese wants to include in the package is a significant asset. It came from the deal with the New England Patriots in early June, one of the Eagles' offseason blockbusters. Using that pick to acquire Crosby would be an aggressive investment, but it fits within the logic of a franchise that has an open competitive window right now, and understands that the best assets carry maximum value when deployed at the right moment. Roseman has shown over the years that he has no problem spending draft capital on players he considers transformative, and Crosby absolutely fits that description. The question that remains is whether this package would be enough for the Raiders. Nolan Smith is a young edge rusher with real upside, but he is not Jared Verse. The 2028 first-round pick adds significant weight to the offer. But the Raiders know they had 2 first-round picks on the table when the Ravens nearly closed a deal before walking away after Crosby's physical. Sending Smith plus 1 first-round pick is a more competitive offer than most that have circulated publicly this offseason. But it may still fall short of what Las Vegas needs to receive to be convinced the timing is right to move their best player. It is important to have clarity on where the Eagles actually stand in this conversation. The franchise's real level of interest appears lower than public perception suggests. The Eagles have been connected to virtually every major pass rusher available in this cycle, from Micah Parsons to Myles Garrett, and now Crosby. Part of that is simply Howie Roseman doing what Roseman always does: mapping the market, probing prices, keeping conversations open. That is not the same as actively negotiating. The recent track record is clear. When the Browns demanded Jalen Carter as part of any Garrett deal, the Eagles backed out immediately. That line of principle has not changed. What makes Reese's proposal valuable in this context is precisely the fact that it does not cross that line. By building a package that preserves Carter and uses Smith plus a first-round pick as currency, the former Eagle is offering a path that aligns with what the organization has already signaled it is willing to do. It does not sacrifice the most important defensive cornerstone in the Eagles' future. It does not jeopardize the extension that Roseman will eventually close with Carter. And it still puts together a convincing value argument for the Raiders. If there is a proposal that Roseman could present without violating his own red lines, this version comes closer than anything else we have seen circulate publicly. With a defensive line of Crosby, Carter, Davis, and Greenard as a concrete possibility, at least on paper, and Nolan Smith plus a 2028 first-round pick as the price. What do you think? Should the Eagles make this move before training camp opens? And is Ike Reese right when he says Philadelphia has not had a pass rusher at Crosby's level since Trent Cole? Drop your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.